Good evening, members of parliament. Thank you so much for being part of this August House. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. For those that are watching from home, good evening. We are coming to you from the beautiful Mbale District, and we are seated at the Mbale District Council Hall. There are some things I want you to help me understand. I want to know, do you have access to these manifestos? Because when we talk about service delivery ahead of the next year or the next election, omanyi manifestos z'abakulembeze boogera kibe bikwatako ng'omuntu bye boogera mu manifesto bye bikunyigiriza ng'omuntu waliwo omuntu ogamba nti ngenda kuwa engatta empya naye ate nga wasuze enjala nga gwe kyoyagala kyakulya so biki ebikunyigiriza ng'omuntu wano Mbale twagala kumanya leero era kiki osuubira mu bakulembeze babaddako
kubanga nze omuntu nga nze ayimiridde mu maaso gammwe wano nsiima bwongerwa nagenda nenzaalirako mu ddwaliro Mbale temwali oxygen nenzaala abaana bange ne banfaako nga banfiiridde ku oxygen naye nagenza okudda mu ddwaliro ly'e Mbale ng'ebitanda bye nalekayo byali bitebitambula nga byonna byakola nga tuli kumpi kuzaalira ku ttaka fe abamu twazaaliranga ku ttaka nagenza okuddayo okuzaala abaana bange bennina kati nga ebitanda byonna emifaliso ne mbuuza nti ani yakola ekintu kino ne baŋŋamba nti mwami Kalimu Masaaba nkwebaza ekintu ekyo tojjanga okwo genda mu maaso n'abantu b'e Mbale mwenna tukwatire wamu nentunuulira namataala gye nagenda ng'okunywera eddagala twandinyweranga wansi era nga tuzaalira wansi naye kati essaawa y'akaakati tuzaalira ku bitanda ebiyitirivu ennyo ate ebirungi n'emifaliso gyako ne batuwa n'essuubi mu ddwaliro nti nga bwe baatuleetera oxygen wali omungi ennyo era tugenda kufuna eddwaliro erya Cancer Institute tuleme okubonaabonera wa emulago neweetikka emmere neweetikka enva neweetikka buli kimu n'obanga asengukidde emulago abantu baffe bafiiridde emulago olw'obusobozi bututayina amazzi gatukoledde wadde enguudo endala tannazikola naye Oweekitiibwa Honorable nkusaba byonna obisse mu nkola.
Honorable Speaker of the People's Parliament, my name is Hakim Watenyeri. I'm a member of Uganda People's Congress, the party which liberated Uganda from colonialism. And when the militaristic tendencies came back by Amin and his honchos, we are the people who able managed to defeat him and threw him out of power. So we liberated Uganda twice. But to my own surprise, our brothers from nowhere, who emerged from the bush, who claimed to be more democratic, came and overthrew our government by force of arms. They declared that they are going to install democracy in the country. We are going to install democratic principles, term limits, age limits, and they came up with a very clear constitution, which was among the best. And as I speak now, it is no longer a constitution, it's just a book, which can be torn any time. Now, when someone claims that he is protecting the gains, here in Mbale, Mbale was the smartest and the cleanest town in East Africa. I've just been from the field trying to clean the town. Myself, of course, I'm talking and I'm speaking in front of you as a road monitor for World Bank projects in Mbale. On a voluntary basis, nobody pays me. I'm a volunteer. And when someone says he's protecting the gains, when we don't have even a single minister in the whole of the region, Mbale is the only city in the world without a cabinet minister. How can we develop without a person who sits on the cabinet? Because it is the cabinet which decides the development of the country. It is the one which allocates resources. What is wrong with Mbale? The president is within this region. My humble appeal to you, Mr. RDC, when you meet His Excellency the President, I know you are going to meet him at State Lodge, tell him we are betrayed Bugisu. We are the ones who brought him up here in Mbale. He started his Bugisu in Mbale at Maluku Estate. I was there myself. when he fired the first bullet in the air and shot a military person of Amin, and he shot another one in the hand. I was at the bus park watching those bullets. Maybe some of you are not yet born, but I was there myself. So how can he forget Bugisu, a region which babysitted him, which gave him all the knowledge, political knowledge, through Professor Nabuderi, Maombe Mukwana, Natoro Masava? All these are now deceased. What are we gaining in Mbale? Without ATM, is now a shadow of its past. Their corporation, we are now taking that milk from the Swiss, and yet we used to get clean milk from their corporation here. And the plant was rooted. ATM was also rooted. Ugationers, which used to produce scholastic materials, and the one which used to supply the whole of East Africa, it is now a shadow of its past. Nothing is there, even in that, you can't find it there. Are we also protecting the gains, or we are protecting the losses?
For that submission. He ended with a rhetoric question. That is for you to think about. That is not my place to go, but thank you so much. But I'm a born and raised of Budaka District. And yes, I grew up coming to Mbale as well. It was always a very clean city. So I would like to again choose one member from now this side. Yes. Honorable member, please come and take to the floor.
Endako Soluganda. Mwebale kujja mwenna. Nsooka okwebaza ababaka mwenna. Mwebale. Tufuna omukisa naffe tuddamu ne tubalabako mu gundi yaffe. Nsooka kwebaza honorable ennaku ebbiri ze twamala nga tetulina masannyalaze. Twalowooza gw'oli Kampala naye twakulabako ng'okiteesako mu parliament. Ekyo nkikubira mu ngalo olunaku lwe wakyogerako. Lero olunaku lwe gaakomawo ssaawa 2 nga nvudde waka ngenzeko ewa neeba ndaba amawulire alina sola.
Ogenze kulaba NTV.
Aga NTV akawungezi. NTV akawungezi ssaawa emu. Bwe nalaba honorable nga batulaga honorable nga complaininga ku bantu ab'e Mbale boogera ku maki. Honorable
kubuuza nti osomeseddwako mu kaseera kano akatono ng'oddamu okulonda osomeseddwako ku ngeri yonna ey'okulonda okuddako ku manifesto z'abalala bebbo kye balina osomeseddwako oba omanye yeeyo.
No, manifesto zonna eziriwo wano e Mbale okusinziira mu kitundu kyange nze kye nnonderamu. Nnonderamu Mutisel wano e Maluuku we nnondera. Nze manifesto zendaba yegwe nalonda luli nazeemu okulaba zayina na munne ono yali atunda ennyaanya zayina n'oli gundi wa no atugamba yali atunda ennyaanya na butungulu. Then nendaba nani ne Wambogo kino kisanya kya 5 olaba biri byonna byamulema nga sinajja Mbale nze ngenda omununula kati awo nenkola ki nendyoka ndaba kino ekyaffe kiri ekyasooka yatusuubiza otukolera twali mu lockdown emyaka tubala 3 gyakoze atya gyatusavinze naye kyatusavinzeeko bwe tudamba ababaka abava sayidi zeeno e Bugisu tulaba nga honorable yakyasinga okuteesa okusinga ababaka banne.
Lwaki mubuuziza olw'ensonga njagadde mmanyi oba ayinako abaala manifesto z'amanyi oba ekyo kyamanyi nti omwana omuto kyamanyi kyakwata. Kale neeyanza nnyo sebo neeyanza again. So I'll again have another gentleman.
Eri Honorable Speaker n'abateesiteesi mwenna ab'olukiiko luno nja kubeebaza olw'okutusembereza palamenti eno ey'abantu. Amanya n'eddoboozi nze Walusimbi Ali, President owa Mbale City Development Forum. Naye we mbadde mu katebe awo tufunyeeyo submission ebadde ekwatagana ku ky'amazzi amayonjo mu kibuga kyaffe Mbale City. Njagala okutegeeza bamemba abali wano nti abantu baffe tebakyanywa mazzi ga Namataala oba Nabiyonga. Mu bbanga lino tubadde tukolagana bulungi nnyo ne World Bank nga ne gavumenti ya wakati mweri twasobola okubanga mu buli kitundu kyaffe ekya informal settlement bwe mugenda e Namataala, Namakwekwe n'ebitundu ebisigadde waliyo water reservoirs ezazimbibwa under the SUPU project ne transformation of settlements of urban poor in Uganda. So ebyo byonna amazzi tegakyaliwo. Waliwo project era World Bank ey'okwongeza amazzi, obungi bw'amazzi. Omuteeso omu bw'abadde wano naye ng'ataviira mu kitundu kyange. Abachina weebali, China Civil erikola omulimu ogw'okubanga ebunyisa amazzi. Amazzi ago gava mu mpologoma, amalala gava waggulu mu luki ku lusozi, gravity flow. So there is no longer, Speaker, an issue of water. We are addressing it, and I want to appreciate the President and the NRM government for doing this. So, olw'ensonga y'ekintu kya social and economic transformation, twatandikira ku ky'enguudo, then n'amazzi. Amazzi bwe buki bwe bulamu, kye mbadde njagala okulaba nti mbategeeza nti embeera eyo kati lubufumo mu Mbale City. Speaker watubuuziza ku kintu kya manifesto. Bw'olabye abateesa abasinga bano nti tutambulira ku bikwate. Manifesto zino tezituuka ku bantu bawansi. Nga President w'abantu bawansi, President of the City Development Forum, there is still a gap. I want to mention, Speaker, the people wananchi, the youth especially, are deliberating issues just from the blue. Tebamanyi kiki kirimu wabula yabeera ku kimu batugambye abantu bali bubi ye n'agendera ku ekyo. I want to appeal to the government and the other stakeholders. Can we bring these citizen manifestos to the grassroots, to the village? We have the structures. Let the people read and understand what is embedded in the manifestos. And in the local languages, Speaker, I beg to submit.
Before you leave, what is your call to the Electoral Commission? Because as you call onto the government, the EC has a mandate, a constitutional mandate to educate the voters, to elaborate, to break down these voting processes, and also the language. What is your call to the polling officers in this district?
For me, Madam Speaker, I want to appeal to the Electoral Commission to ensure that we have institutions like the Kalicho institution within the regions. We have the religious leaders in the community. They can use these platforms to go down and popularize some of the issues that are affecting our electorates. But there has been a challenge. I don't know whether it is time. There has been still a gap in some of our communities. I want to mention the EC. I want to appeal to them. In the shortest time, they can come down and address that gap and ensure that we have a free and fair election. However, that has been, Madam Speaker, has not been realized in the recent, and the Electoral Commission should pick it from there, and we start engaging our masses, and we see that we have a free and fair election. I subscribe to the NRM. I don't want another party to complain. Let us ensure that we win fairly. Thank you.
Thank you. Why I asked is because the Electoral Commission Act of 1997, that is Section 5, Clause C, says the EC has to promote knowledge. Mwena mwino okumanya, mwino okusala wongo tegedde so se kumanya. Sebo, tukwanyiriza. Thank you for being part of this conversation.
Madam Speaker, to my fellow honorable members, good evening. My name is Masaba James. I represent people of Humbosabu County as the ROC5 councillor, and at the district, I am the Secretary of Services. That means I supervise 3 departments, that is health, education, and community. Now, first of all, appreciate the question that you asked earlier, whether the manifestos of our leaders align with the people's expectations in communities. And I would like to answer that by saying partially, the manifestos do, but on the greater extent, they don't. Madam Speaker, I supervise schools, and in Mbale, we have schools in some upland areas. When you look at the topography of Mbale, the majority of the population stay the other side of Highland. And in those places, they are hard to reach. And the government has not done enough to address the issue of hard to reach allowances. And when you asked our leaders whether they have addressed this issue, to responsible ministries to address it, you can see the answers are not yet available. But as Mbale District, we are suffering a lot of absenteeism of teachers and health workers because of the distance that they move, but also the topography. The distance is very long, and also they climb hills to reach their services stations. Also, we have an issue of the government through the pronouncements of President Museveni giving us institutions. When he pronounces to give us an institution, he gives us a structure. Like, for example, one of the speakers here did mention of Mwambe Mukwana Memorial Institute. Yes, we appreciate we have it, but if you walked there right now, the institute is not functional. It lacks the tutors, it lacks the administrators, there are no funds, but the institute is there. So we have that as a chance. Actually, of late we had a strike from the same institute. In Bugisu here, we are a prone to disaster area. In Mbale City, Mbale District, we have been always hit by these unexpected natural calamities. But in the manifesto of our leaders, don't say anyone are trying to address the issue of disasters in Bugisu region. And yet, recently, we had some visitors from the office of Prime Minister who came and we mapped. We moved around mapping members who are staying in those areas. But up to now, there has never been a redress to that effect. Up to now, people are coming to our offices asking what is the way forward, because the rains are always there, and we have a very serious crack running across that mountainous area there, running from Bududa to Bulambuli. So our people at risk who are staying in those areas.
You have 1 minute only.
Yes, lastly, as a region, we have been always advocating for ministry, specifically for Bugisu region. Just like we have Karamoja Affairs Ministry, we have Bunyolo. Here we have been always advocating for at least a ministry also to address issues of Bugisu, because we believe in Bugisu here we have so many issues that some other people might not understand. But if we can have a minister to whom we can be learning to every now and then, wherever we have calamities, maybe we would have some issues addressed. But in the manifesto of our leaders, I don't see anyone mentioning of that in the manifesto. So to me, I will say partially, the manifestos of our leaders clearly addresses their interest, but not the interest of the people who come from Bugisu land.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. At this particular point, NTV Post Parliament is going to take a very short break. When we return, we shall still engage the citizens here in Mbale District about their voting rights. Stay tuned. Honorable Member, I'll have you. When she's done, you please come take to the floor of the August House.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to talk about health. Banange Newento abantu badde bazala nyo premature kids main hospital nga the place is very small. Ne Honorable webale nyo, the place has been enlarged kati at least abana balina enough space. Obadde osanga like a bed nga abana babeerako banga bameka, naye kati bali mu kugaziya that place. Nenjogera nti abantu baba bafunye ebizibu, abantu badde bahayaringa tents. Honorable yakikoze yatuwa tents. Bampita Bahati Abdallah, sorry. Yes, Honorable Karim Masaba yabikole ebyendi okwogerako yabikoze. About roads, engudo ezisinga azikoze. Though others are not yet, but chemanyi toso akola kintu wali aze wano naga nti ne Katonda teyakola ansi mu lunaku lumu. It took him time, so taso azikola zonna lumu, but most of them they have been made. Tweyanza nnyo era tweyanzira ddala boreholes banaye tufunye ku mazzi. Honorable Karim Masaba tusimidde boreholes, amazzi tuyina agamala. Thank you so much.
Omukyala yeyanziza nnyo neera Honorable Karim Masaba nja kusaba ojotangaaza abantu mu buyinza asikati kiwandiike mu buyinza kimwokolera enguudo mwoletera amazzi saagala abantu batuule awo bagambe nti bannange watali honorable Kalini Masa nedda. It is an office. Njagala tukitangaaleko tukitegeere bulungi ekintu ekyo.
Okay, I'm going to use my 3 minutes constructively. Madam Speaker, yes. You said we talk about our manifestos.
Muzitegeera, do you understand the manifestos?
Tuzitegeera nga faabamu. Nenga, I'm going to talk in English.
Yes, please.
When we are talking about politics, we are talking about scientific management of scarce resources, or talking about people's welfare, promoting people's welfare, either qualitatively or quantitatively. We are living in a government which is doing nothing but patronage. And a government which is doing patronage cannot allow others to sell their constitutions, because they have failed constitutions starting from 1986, when they came out with a 10-point program, which failed. They brought entandikwa, no one has ever started. Tewali yali atandise. They have brought wealth separation, everyone here is poor. There is no one who is rich. Now they have killed the civic education. Killing civic education is where we would be educating people to know our manifestos. Allow me to ask Mr. RDC, sir, it is in your docket that civic education is performed. Where is the money and who are the civic leaders who are going to educate people about their rights to vote and why they should vote?
Would you like to answer that now, or you can note it down?
No, you can answer it now.
No. You see, we're not going to go with the impunity. We are going to have...
Madam, I have a reason why.
He's going to eat on your 3 minutes. I want... you have a reason why.
Rigging election starts from there.
Exactly. So, Honorable Member, do we have civic education currently ongoing? He's going to come. Kati, you give him chance to speak.
Okay.
Yes, because it's very, very important. But it's also the mandate of the Electoral Commission as you pin him on to answering that. So, please, Honorable Member, do we have civic education currently ongoing as we head to the general elections 2026?
Section 71 of the Local Government Act creates the office of the RDCs and RCs. And one of our major functions to conduct mobilization, including civic education. And we have been doing it on radio and meetings, but our colleagues here don't attend. And as a teacher, you know, when you have a class, there are students who are not able to learn. The brains are low. Even when you teach, they can't pick.
Honorable Member, now I just want to ask, no, Honorable Member, just a minute. I want you to tell the people of Mbale, where do we have, because we still have, we are electing 15th of January for the presidential candidates, but I would like to know, just highlight them. Where are the civic education classes taking place? How are you doing this? Which radio stations are you advertising with or talking to? How often does this message go through? So that abatali wana banalaba ku TV bamanye wawe balina okujja okumanya how they will be able to access the voting places that day.
Madam Right Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to correct that we do not need specific classes to conduct civic education. As RCC Mbale City, I have held meetings in Bukonde, attended by over 700 people. I have held meetings in Amanyonyi, Old Sub-County, Nakaloke Town Council, Nakaloke Sub-County, Nambabasa, Nauyo Bugema, and in all those meetings, we only focus on civic education. Now, the civic education we do is patriotic, but our colleagues would want us to talk about themselves. Say, you see, and we have cautioned our people that be aware that some of the people who come wearing hats, red hats, are dangerous. They will spoil the economy.
There you have it, please, Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, I think he has already confessed that he is against us. Now, if he is against us, how shall we conduct a free and fair election as enshrined in the Constitution? He has confessed it here.
What have you done as a party to also...
Madam Speaker, the problem we are having is that we are having government officials who are deliberately put on the ground not to do anything, but to ensure that opposition political parties don't go on ground to educate people. National Unity Platform has a better system of approaching people and ensuring people that they vote from an informed source of it. That is National Unity Platform. And I will take time to one time visit the Honorable RDC and I educate him about National Unity Platform. You give me a day, I will be available. National Unity Platform has the best arrangement for this government, for the coming government, because it is the one going to win the election. It is the coming government when these ones will be in opposition. We shall tell, you see, abilities of less account without opportunity. Much as we are educating these younger men, we are not creating jobs for them. And yet the jobs are there. When you look at these roads in Mbale District, they need manpower. We have educated people who are engineers. It is just a matter of the will to create the jobs. But wherever they want to create jobs, and you come up like me, they carve a district for you so that you don't talk for Mbale. Now you talk for Budadiri. These small units they are creating, they are just to divide the community and rule them in ignorance. They are not there to develop us. They end up putting much more money in government workers, employees, than the social services. That is the problem we are having. National Unity Platform is coming to fix that by putting back the money to its proper use, but not to pay a few individuals, and to create more jobs such that people can have social transformation and economic transformation. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member, I'm going to have the gentleman right there. Please give in your submission.
Yeah, thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Permit me to stand on the protocols established here. The theme of today, you've talked about the manifestos and how they can benefit a common Ugandan.
Voter mobilization.
And voter mobilization.
Do you know your rights as a voter? Do you know it is your right to vote? Do you know it is your right to get the right information before you actually cast the vote on that ballot?
That's very good. But we take time to look at these manifestos. But unfortunately, the manifestos have become just a document that brings out the sweeping statements that cannot be implemented. I must say, in governance, Uganda is a country that has a very well established governance systems with very well good paperwork. But when it comes to the usage of that system, we are still having a challenge. I am not a politician, but I want to address this to you, Your Excellency, the President or the representative of the President. Let's listen to what the common person do or says, because you serve a Ugandan. The cry of Ugandans is the systems are not functional. They seem to have been blocked. We have talked about the civic education that the Speaker asked you about. You have the whole system ranging up to LC1. But there are times when you get an LC1 and you ask him or her, his or her role, and they are not aware. Let's talk about the manifesto that I've been looking at. We have the NRM manifesto, we have the FTC manifesto, and all that. They have these issues they bring out. We have the Department of Infrastructure, we have the education, we have the health, and all of them have something they say. But at the end of the day, you give them the mandate after the 5 years, you don't see anything on ground. We want to say this. Kindly, can you open the systems to work? If you have a person or a representative or an education secretary on LOC, can we see that person having knowledge about education? If you have a secretary for health or social services at LOC 5, what are they doing? Are they following up the services? Sometimes you find a school which you plan for, It is the responsibility of even LC1, LC2, LC3. Those people could come together and have issues addressed. But we don't have it. That's why we're having the grappling education system. We're having the grappling health system. Kindly, let's stipulate the systems, and all these Ugandans will benefit out of it.
Thank you, Honorable.
I want to finalize with this.
I have so many hands. I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
this is the issue of human resource. In governance, when you're given an office of leadership, you're given three things: to manage man, to manage money, and to manage materials, which are resources. But the planning of our resources is becoming a challenge. Is your government, is the government of FDC, of NRM and NUP, what are you talking about the human resource? Who are going to manage the other resources so that people can get the services closer? We want to always say, as Ugandans, we are always ready, and what we want is to have service delivery, basically through the systems that are blocked. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I need a youth from the pavilion. Uganda, Impia, and also protecting the gains for the youth. I have seen the President advocating and pushing for the youth in Kamocha. Please come and represent the youth today here. Are we fixing the money economy together? Are we standing for change? You can trust that is ANT or the Common Man's Party. Tulirewamu Kurusania. So, yes, Honorable Member.
Yeah, nsima okusima bwena abandaba nga nebaza okuba nga nyimiddeko mu maaso ga olunaku olwaleero. Mbeeko nekyenjogera nga nze omuvubuka. Kuba guno mukisa guba gw'amaanyi nnyo okujja okubeerako NTV nga buli omu akulaba. So nsima okusima nga njagala kutangazaamu nga abatuuze b'e Mbale ndi tulikola ensobi y'amaanyi nnyo kubanga tulitunulira nnyo ba honorables abali kujja batuwa manifesto zaabwe batusuubiza ngenda bakolera kino ngenda bakolera kino. So nga muli eri tetusinzidde okola ekintu ekyo tetuli kutunulira nnyo kuba emyaka 5 gye tuwa honorable ogenda mu parliament mitini nnyo eno Mbale enene. Mu myaka 5 tukola bye twagala mitini nnyo. So nsaba nga nze kubanza ni muvubuka bingi byenzize nga njigira kumu abakulu ate bingi nnyo byenkyayiga. So mbasaba nga abatuuze b'e Mbale nti honorable emyaka 5 gye twamuwa mitini nnyo okubanga asobola tukola bye twagala.
Kiki kyowandiyagadde wano Mbale bakolere gwe nga omuvubuka?
Nze nga nze omuvubuka mabegako wano nali ndasopaka nga bakagiggulawo fa abavubuka abamu abasooka ogenda okusaba emirimu awo mu industrial park twatuuka ne tusaba emirimu ne bagituwa naye batuwa emirimu nga omusaala tulifuna emitwalo 13 ng'ezo sente ntini nnyo nga nze omuvubuka ali kwekulaakulanya ng'ate negye nsinzira okujja okola wala nnyo nga sina transport nkeera kutambula nzireyo olw'eggulo naye nga kusente emitwalo 13 gye bali kumpa tegimala. Naye nga mu bimu honorable bye yatuyamba yali mu parliament n'obutambi obwe buli ku mikutu egy'enjawulo TikTok owa Facebook ng'ali tukubira omulanga era yatukubira omulanga mu parliament era essaawa eno mu Industrial Park tufuna emitwalo 25.
Submission gye njagala w'obozze wano saagala kusabira muntu kalulu bamuwe bamwongere bamuwe yafuna katono nedda. Kiki ky'oyagala bakolere era kiki ky'oyagala omanye ku mukulembezeewo kuba olina eddakiika 3 katala point ennungi obadde ogireseeyo kati ate waweddeyo dda mbadde ngamba tutuuleko ate nga wazoonoonye 3 wazisabye mu akalulu njagala kufunayo omuntu omwenja ojja kudda edda ngenda kufunayo mulala wazoonoonye ng'osaba kalulu kakati ngenda kukwongera naye nja kukwongera edda si kyekyo. Kale sebo sokojje nga bwe ndaba n'emikono gyange wali gigiri wali. Honorable Member adduseewo misinde naye dakiika zo kati gwe oba nyingi.
Neyanziza Madam Speaker.
You're welcome. Thank you for being
Amanya nze Umarumuzi. Ndi mutuuze wa Namataala. Nvira mu kibiina kya NRM. Nsooka kwagala kugamba avudde wano nga mbadde ready nti NRM tekulwanyisa singa toyize n'oyimirira wano. Kyenjagala nkukakasa ate nti twabona NRM erwanyisiza Konyi, Rakwena n'obwavu, namwe tujja kubawona. Ngawe mbagambye ndi NRM era mpagira President Museveni akoze bingi namwe mubiraba. Naye nje kyenjagala mubaka wa parliament ankolere mu myaka 5 ejijja oyo anaaba alondeddwa ate tumanya agenda kulondebwa nti nze nga ava mu, in fact Madam Speaker, nze nva mu slum area, the second biggest in Uganda, bajeta Namatala ghetto nene. Abavireyo tuli baavu tubonabona n'endwadde naddala ndwadde. Tulina ne area gye bayita sirimu quarter.
Stray dogs.
Ugambye embwa.
Ngambye endwadde. Ndwadde nyingi.
Okay.
Tulina n'aka area ka quarters bakayita sirimu quarters. Wenjogerawo ntyo muba mutegeede. Naye nebaza mubaka wa parliament Namatala Health Center ejanjaba abantu okuva Bukedi, Teso, Tororo, bona baja mu Namatala Health Center. Abakazi baffe bali bazaala bubi nga tebalina na katanda. Naye mubaka wa parliament waffe n'alobinga ekitanda. Era saawa zino oba oli omuntu ali bubi saawa zino tumuduse Namatala Health Center ajja kuzaala bulungi. Era nsaba mukubire Honorable Karim Masaba mungalo. It was because of him netufuna ekitanda. Ndoza it is the best in Mbale City. Ekyali kiremye City Council tawunikirako baaliwa kyabalema bano naye Honorable nalobinga era nsaba Honorable waba ayise nsaba lobinge anyige government agiteke mu gundi n'abano basajja ba City Council tufunde sente tugule abalirwana abo abali awo tuongeze eddwaliro eryo lifuuke ki hospital. The problem is land. Naye abasajja ba City Council tebawulira. Sente zijja zifuluma. Tebawulira. Sente zingira zifuluma. So mu byonna dakemu Madam Speaker nsaba Honorable Allah abakukwatidde noyita ensonga ya dwaliro lya Namatala Health Center 4 onyige government ujinyige tufune sente tugule balirwana abo tufune ki
anyike government ye NRM
yange nje ndwe NRM oloze siku
busikanye debana be member ye yamude oda
naye nje mpagira wa independent olwokuba akola ebyo byenjagala. Maliriza n'ekigambo kino Namatala kitundu ekyo kyali n'ekivundu woyitaawo nga bano abasite bano balemerwa okugyawo kasaaniko. Omusajja w'ekisaana ajja n'ateeka sente ku mmotoka zaabwe ne bajjayo gundi ebisaaniko ebyo ate sikiri ne baaba amafuta. Nkomekereza ngamba Katonda ayatonda ensi akwatire Honorable Karim Masaba atuomwongere sigane nga Umar Muzi.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Before I pick any arm, please, Honorable Member, before I take on any other arm, I would like to have, like I said earlier, we are allowed to defend what they speak about us. I'd like to have the city clerk onto the floor of the August House. First of all, tell us about the issue of garbage and sewage management and also the accusations against you. I grew up from Budaka. I'm born and raised of Budaka. One time when we came to the district here with my dad, he told us, Mbale tebaka sukawoka sasiro, buli amwina mteke mumotoka. Na yo ralero, going through the streets of Mbale, garbage heaps are up to this side. So please, Honorable Member, I'm also speaking as a citizen of this country. Take on to the floor of the August House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good evening, Honorable Members. There are about three things I'm going to comment on.
The ones that I also read before, all yours. I have some few of mine, but you can start with yours.
If those ones I leave out, then you remind me and then I'll come back to them. My name is James Kutos. I'm a Senior Communications Public Relations Officer from Mbale City. And before I come to Honorable Muzi, I wanted to make a comment on something about purchase of a grader at 1.2 billion shillings when it can cost about 300 what? Million. If we have a V8 Land Cruiser and a grader, I don't know how much is what is more expensive than the what? Than the other. But in government procurement processes, when you are purchasing something on the open market, it is different from when government is purchasing because they embed in some money for whoever is going to do that what? That process. Government procurements are a little higher than on the open what? On the open market. So it could be true that you could find a grader at 300 million, but there are different what types. You can buy a car, you can buy a V8, you can also buy a Fitiz. They are not the same what? The same price. Then
please move closer to the microphone. Someone has information?
Nze bampita wava muno Muhammad ndi musuubuzi w'Embale. Meya we yali atutegeeza ku bikwatagana ne grade eyo nga bagironchinga yatugamba nti ezo ssente zaali za bannambale tezaali za gavumenti, ssente ze batukolektingamu ze zaagula grade eyo. So n'olwekyo simanyi oba yali ku budget ya gavumenti oba zaali ku budget ya municipal ya city council.
I think, Honorable Speaker, I may not be taking information because the person who came to inform me didn't have the information that I should have given him. Because one thing is... because
the mayor is here. Much as I am here. Honorable Speaker, I want to clarify on the issue of the grader. Yes, it is true. It was purchased using the property rates. That is money collected under local revenue. But it is not a procedure of just directing the money to spend it. It's money, there is a procurement unit that directs the procurement process. So esente ezo kituufu zava mu mama yumba n'ebirala naye zigenda mu nsawo ya government. So netusaayo kusaba kiki twagala zikozesa. So sente ezo procurement process yakolebwa nebanga greda esasulibwa ku sente ezo era we twagironchinga kyekyo. Information gye jagadde okuwa member sente zammwe ze zikola emirimu egyo naye nga zisooka kugenda ne tusaba kye twagala zikolamu ne zikomawo. Mwebale nnyo.
Kale tweyanziza.
Anything on that, I want to get to Honorable Muzi. For setters
grade ani yegede kusonga ya grade. Yego Honorable Member bakutesaako kale. Nja kuza oyina kyakola ku grade?
Why couldn't I submit? Then after I've submitted and then they come.
I'm going to give you time to submit, but we finish an issue and it's taken away from the floor.
All right, Honorable Speaker, I mentioned about the ratings. Of course, he was making it look evil or diabolical by mentioning a few funny gimmicks of VTs and all that. I am an expert in civil works, and I do works in the Congo. So I am well acquainted with knowledge about graders and all that. The prices is talking about is the price of a bulldozer, and the brand that you're talking about, I doubt if it is even a cut. But if it is a cut, it is 300. It is 300 million. You get it? Yes, it is 300 million if it is a cut. So when you are eating your root whatever you people have looted and wasting people's money, or the consensus of Mbale City, you eat it quietly, but again, don't make us fools, because we know these things. Some of us in the NUP, we are well acquainted with a lot of information on what takes place. You get it? We cannot just come out of the blue and we start opposing. We oppose because we want sanity and want clarity.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. So let's proceed.
Honorable Ivan, if there are carts, we have a cart that is a grader that we purchased. If we can get, I want to commit Mbale City that if there is an invoice for a cart of 300 million, then we are going to abandon buying a dozer and we buy another grader. Mbale Municipal Council had an area of 24 kilometers squared. Today Mbale City has 158.4 kilometers squared. That we need more of those equipment, especially in the constituents where you are contesting in Bungo Northern Division. We need more graders. So if there are cheaper graders like the one you are talking about, then we are going to be very lucky to consult you and we see how we can procure more of those. Instead of procuring one, we procure 3.
We are solving issues. Please now give your submissions.
Now, when I get to Honorable Muzi, Honorable Muzi was a councillor in Mbale Municipal Council. And before he became a councillor in Mbale Municipal Council, Namatala Health Center was already what? Was already there. The period Honorable Muzi was in a council, what was the problem? What was in his mind that he just began thinking this morning that they should have purchased what? Land. When you come, sometimes you come to a meeting, when Honorable Masaba Karim was submitting here in the morning, he told you that as a person, he cannot have money to make a road, he cannot have money to purchase equipment in a what? In a hospital, but he does the work of what? Of lobbying. And when you are doing this, Honorable Karim Masaba, Honorable Ivan, who are coming in, are becoming leaders of Mbale City on top of those who are what? Existing. So if I find a honorable member coming here and castigating that these thieves of Mbale City, a Mbale City that he has been a part of and he continues being a part of, I do not take it lightly. There should be something that should be corrected. I want to say that Honorable Muzi was in a council. When we get in, Honorable Muzi today is saying for him, he is NRM, but he's supporting what? An independent candidate because of what? Delivery. But Honorable Muzi is a voter in Namatala. Mbale Northern State Division has the councillors who are about 56 or so. About 50 of them are NRM. When you go to industrial, the biggest number are NRM. So it is people, the leaders like Honorable Muzi, that are misleading others not to toe the lines that are meant what? To pursue, and then begin castigating the people that implement what they decide as what? As leaders. I want to say there was something about employment levels, employment in industrial park. When you look at industrial park, if you say that industrial park has not given employment to the people in this local area, then you are one person who doesn't pass around the Sino Industrial Park. When people are entering the industrial park and the people are leaving, you are only a person who has not taken enough time to enter the industries inside there and see how many black faces are inside there. If all those people were out here on the what? On the streets, it would be a bigger problem. So to us as managers in Mbale City, we see that the industrial park has added something on what? On our people. There is a young man who has just said here that they were earning 130,000 at the beginning, but their honorable talked about it through what? They are now earning 250 what? 50,000. That means it has added on somewhat some value. There was something that Honorable again talked about, that we do not have water everywhere. Where they were having water, it is only by the charity what? Boys of charity and others who are drilling what? Boreholes in what? in the city. I want to tell you that, one, we may have boreholes by the what? By the state, but there is extension of gravity flow schemes. There is a scheme that they are budgeting for right now that is up there, that is to supply more people. The National Water and Storage Corporation, the extensions they are making, they are all geared towards improving water coverage for what? For people. But one thing I want to tell you that much as these charity organizations are doing for us some work, right now we're having street children in the what? In the city. And the charity boys are buying food in the restaurants there, serving people we are trying to remove from the what? The street. Much as, so the city, we are trying to pull the street children out of the streets. The charity boys are using them as baits for them to earn from whatever they are what? They are earning to justify their causes of getting what? Money. So when we are coming in as leaders, let us look at a way. Let us look at a way of how do we work together. If we have identified a gap here, come together as leaders. Muzi is supporting Karim Masaba, who is an independent. There is Wamboko, who is what? NRM, because he sees the value in them. Let us first of all forget about the colors we are representing and whatever, and then focus at motherland Bugisu, Mbale City. What do you bring on table? It is not just that you are going to be a leader before you work. Bring on table what you can contribute, whatever is already what? Existing. I want to thank you.
Remember, the people of Mbale have spoken. We have heard their plea, we have heard their demands, and they've also told us that they have not been fully engaged about civic education. They have not been fully engaged about voter education. Most of them don't know how many candidates are actually standing, and most of them do not know the details of the manifestos of the different candidates they seek to put in office come the next election. But we shall be in Mbale District again next week to address some of these concerns. Thank you so much for watching. For those that are watching from home, by the powers vested in me, I adjourn this house until next time.